Only 320 days till Christmas, and I can't wait to put this on my tree. Where did it come from? John Barlow from Purple Shark Designs is on Whiskey Business tonight.
I have a question. Will the people listening know what you just are doing?
What?
Did you say an ornament? I would say
do one with the radio.
I said it's going to be on my tree.
Yeah, but
Okay.
people listening don't know what the fuck you're holding.
Okay. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Sometimes, all right, here we go. Take 7.
There you go.
Right there. Only 320 days until Christmas, and I can't wait to put this particular Christmas ornament on my tree. Who made it? John Barlow from Purple Shark Designs, our guest tonight on Whiskey Business. And for those of you who are listening, it's a Whiskey Business ornament. And welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. We've been doing this little podcast now for, I don't know, going on 5 years. And anytime someone who listens to Whiskey Business or enjoys Whiskey Business goes out of their way to show their appreciation and or affection for the podcast, I'm always flattered and taken aback and also extremely appreciative. This is only 320 days till Christmas. For those of you who haven't taken down your tree, maybe take it down now. or for those of you who want to get a jump on Christmas,
there are those people
put
out
it
there.
up. Either way. But this is a Christmas ornament made by our guest tonight, John Barlow from Purple Shark Designs, who
Very nice.
listens to Whiskey Business and told me that he could make a Christmas ornament for us. And I said, yeah, man, go ahead. And when I saw this and sent it to the boys, they immediately said, oh, I want
Give
one
me
too.
one. Give me one.
And John graciously went ahead and cranked out 2 more.
It's like almost official. It's a rite of passage. Once you make it onto a Christmas ornament.
Well, yeah. Once you're at someone's freaking tree,
That's nice.
yeah, you're the real deal.
It's a real
I
deal.
want to pass this down to my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, right.
He'll look at it and says, that's what killed him.
We could just make him another one.
That's what
So tonight, John Barlow is our guest from Purple Shark Designs. I've done a lot of research on you and your company, and here's my opening statement. You make a lot of cool shit.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
And we're done. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. No, man, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Before we get to you and what you do and how it all started and where you're at, we got to do a little bit of business. First of all, Hansberry, you do the business, then we'll introduce the guest bottle.
got it.
I'm on a Jack Daniels kick the last couple weeks.
I see that.
So yeah, I know, but this one's cool. So
Well,
I'll
and
explain it to you here in just
for
a
the
second.
listeners, this one is a gold one, a color that I've never seen before. But the business
nice.
first. Thank you to Evergreen Podcast Network, our parent company, evergreenpodcasts.com, where you can find not only our info, Whiskey Business, but all of our brethren and sister podcasts. Check them out and support the family.
Did you try to find another thing
Brethren, and is there a brethren?
There's a brethren. There's a sisterhood.
Sisterhood. All right. Anyway,
I don't know if
that
there's
sounds like a nun.
sister and is something completely different.
Well, anyway, thanks.
We'll talk later.
Whiskey Business Podcast.
When we do our homeschooling after the
Right,
podcast,
yeah.
we'll go over sister.
Whiskey
We'll add it to
Business
your
Podcast
vocabulary.
is on. It's like French class or all the different. All right. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. If you're listening on your favorite podcasting app, thank you. But you can always check us out on YouTube. John does a great job. We're unedited videos, so sometimes he'll keep all of our dumb nonsense on the videos that I cut out.
Let's keep about 99% of it.
Yeah. Then let's see where are we at. Oh, make sure you smash that. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you. The bell, you'll get a notification.
I've noticed that we picked up a bunch of subscribers.
Perfect.
Here as
It's
of late,
great.
So thank you
You
very
get
much.
an
Appreciate
update
that.
when John updates that. And let's see what else. Thanks for subscribing to Whiskey Business on your favorite podcasting app. Rate, review, share with all your friends.
Yep, we appreciate it.
And then can I hit this real quick?
Oh yeah,
wanna
you want to
this
hit
now?
that before I hit the guest spot? Absolutely, man. This is something that I was supposed to do,
Right.
and couldn't because COVID got in the way, and now it's back, and you're gonna do it, and I you know what? I couldn't
You're a
be
little
more
jealous.
proud.
You're a little
I'm a little jealous, but I
Yeah,
couldn't.
yeah.
I also could not be more proud because I think you're gonna kick ass.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Dino's sloppy seconds.
No,
However,
you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not, man. No, you're not. No, don't sell yourself short.
I know. I'm kidding. But the Columbus Craft Cocktail Tour.
You're a distant third.
Don't give myself that much credit.
That's right. You're a complete slouch, Joe.
No, man.
Our friends,
you freaking rock. You know that.
Leanne Sims and Blair Beavers. They run the Columbus Craft Cocktail Tour. Leanne also hosts the Women in Whiskey Stop Mansplaining Me podcast, which is a lot of fun. She talks to the different female bar distillers in the industry and that kind of thing. Anyway, they're putting on the I'm Not Really a Bartender amateur cocktail competition.
Okay.
So this is February 27th, Sunday the 27th at 6 p.m. At Denmark on High. Mark your calendar.
Great bar.
So myself, Erin Edwards, who is from she's the dining editor of Columbus Monthly.
All right. So a journalist.
Yeah, fancy
right,
journalist.
and?
Brittany Bailey, she's on WBNS on 10 TV. She's
Oh,
an
and
anchor news.
news anchor.
broadcaster.
Okay.
Broadcaster.
Our broadcast journalist.
I'm a jackass.
And then there's you.
Yeah. No. Of course,
man.
my media
No,
chops as a.
You are the producer of a very successful morning show. You
That's
are the
right.
audio producer of an award-winning podcast.
That's right.
Exactly.
You got chops.
I'm
You
an
deserve to be
award-winning
there.
podcast producer. Anyway, so we team up with a bartender. I've teamed up with our buddy Jesse Hubbard, who's
Excellent.
been on our show a million times. Each of us, and then we have to jump through all these hoops. They have a competition. They have challenges. Like one of them is we have to make a margarita. So we just have to do these different things. Long story short, we're raising money for a charity called Service, which supports the food and service industry. I'm not quite sure enough about it, if it's local or where, but obviously right now they've been hit hard with the pandemic.
Sure.
So we'll put a link to all of this on our website, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. But tickets are $30. Come join us February 27th. I think there's going to be some snacks and a complimentary punch. I don't know what that is.
And
And I'm going to win the damn thing.
win the damn thing.
I'll have more
Have
information
you met
on
with
social.
Jesse yet for your training?
Well, we've talked on the phone a couple times. We were supposed to meet last week, but then that Snowzilla came through, and
don't forget to give him the
Yep, the scepter. Yep.
You know that he gave me to keep, and when we were crafting cocktails, he's good. I mean,
Okay.
that is your Mr. Miyagi right there.
all right, wax on.
Yeah, man.
Wax off.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway,
Whiskey
thank
on.
you.
Whiskey
Hopefully, all of you can make it. I know you may or may
No,
not. You
I
got stuff
I
to
can't
do.
make it. Otherwise, I'd be doing it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah. Let both of the Johns go. Our guest bottle this evening, like I said, I've been in the wintertime. Jack Daniels seems to be my go-to. I mean, it's my everyday pour for a lot of reasons, because I like everything that Jack Daniels is and what they're about. But this one is, I think, our 190th bottle on the podcast this evening, and it's part of the Master Distiller Series. This is Jack Daniels Master Distiller Series number 3, as in who was the third distiller for Jack Daniels. That would be Lem Tolly, who was the master distiller from 1941 to, I think, 1960. You go ahead, Johnny. You can hold it up there. To 1964. And what do you? I mean, take a few sips. Obviously, the bottle was already open before you guys got here, so I've sampled this. But
I don't normally notice this, so that's maybe why I'm making a comment. The legs are really. It seems like a very thick bourbon on the side of it. I don't know if that's just me or.
it's a little smoky on the nose.
Okay.
And there's a burn on the nose. There, you can smell the alcohol on this one right out of the gate. And The palate is also a little bit oaky, but there's hints of. Been a minute.
When it says it's charcoal mellowed.
Of course, it's Jack Daniels.
Tastes good.
Yeah, there's hints of a little peppery, a little cinnamony, a little touch of. Well, John, you're in a bourbon group. What do you think? I mean,
Don't ask me to describe it. I definitely get the oaky though,
Got
and
the oaky?
I like the oaky.
A little bit of banana.
This one, for me, compared to other Jack Daniels that I've had, this one has a unique profile to it.
yeah.
It's good. I like it. I can definitely see why the bottle is. It's not full.
No, it's not full.
Yeah.
It's, I bought them thinking I won't open these. They're special. Well, you know what?
We've been in a pandemic for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Got to make your
And what
day
have I
special
always
every
said?
once in a while.
Collect art,
Drink
drink
whiskey.
whiskey.
That's
Yeah, yeah. I've opened up a lot of bottles that probably unopened would have far more value than what I originally purchased them for. But yeah, this is Master Distiller's number 3. The finish is a little spicy as well and a little oaky. Not a long finish, but it's 86 proof. I have no idea how much it costs now, or if you can even find it, or where you can find it. Obviously, there was a limited release.
How long did you buy the bottle?
How long ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't recall. It's
Like 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 2
yeah, it
years.
was 30 years ago.
know. Give us
an answer. It was 30. You nailed it. It was 30 years ago.
I don't know. I mean, you have
30 years ago I bought it. Yeah.
You're gonna have a bottle that you got 30 years ago, and I'm gonna be the jackass and ask who drinks it all one night.
Do you remember how long ago the bottles you have were?
Not 30 years.
No, not 30 years.
No, it's funny you say that because we talked about this on previous podcasts. My brother-in-law is into the Dusties right now, where he's buying unopened bottles from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, and he's having a blast going down that trail. And he's paying a pretty price for them as well. But he's gone bourbon bonkers. God bless him. I win, because every time I go down to visit in Florida, it's like a bourbon buffet. It's incredible.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. He's and he's also another guy that says he could buy them and put them up on the shelf and admire them, but no, he opens them up and he drinks them. I mean, he has at it. So I admire him for that on that aspect alone. John Barlow, welcome to the podcast, man. Officially,
Thank you.
we've
Thanks
been
for having me.
communicating back and forth on Instagram. You were supposed to join us a while earlier, but you got the COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got the COVID,
Everybody. I mean,
even
it's
with
almost,
the vaccination.
You can get the fact that you're vaccinated probably made it it stayed around a little less than it should have, or could
I
have
hope so,
made
yeah.
things worse. So glad you're on the mend and back with us.
Thank you.
And this is what you do. I mean, I showed the Christmas ornament. The company is called Purple Shark Designs. They do custom designs and handcrafted goods for who?
Pretty much for anybody. Honestly, it's been my goal to set up a kind of like a storefront where people can come and just purchase things that are already made. But quite honestly, since I started this, I haven't had the time to even get there because the word of mouth requests that I've had so far have kept me busy enough that I don't have time to do any of the other things. And it's led me into paths that I never thought I would go into.
Such as?
I never thought I would ever be making beer tap handles, especially for local breweries.
That's
but
awesome.
I now make the tap handles for Olentangy River Brewing Company.
Nice.
I've made 2 batches of those for them so far.
How long does something like that take?
Oh,
That sounds like it's a bit more. I'm not begrudging the time and effort that went into this, but when you said, "Oh, I can crank out a couple more," it seemed
The
kind
ornaments,
of
Yeah,
seemed
so
kinda effortless.
so that ornament you're holding, most of the time for me was actually put into the design work and then the finishing of the wood. And once you stick it in a laser machine, it's pretty much all up to the machine to run it. And don't get me wrong, there's some skill and technique to that too.
Absolutely.
But when you start talking about the Olentangy handles, if you ever get to see one, and I wish I had one that I could have brought, So it's basically 4-sided, and all 4 sides have Olentangy River on it. But the way that it's done is it's kind of like an inlay pattern. So I laser engrave the letters into the wood to create a recess. After it's painted, then I cut acrylic letters and glue each one into place and press them into the wood. And that's not that's not all, excuse me. So then there are caps on the bottom and the top, as well as a topper that is basically part of their logo design. So they have the arrowhead.
This is awesome because I used, before I got into bourbon, I was into the craft beer scene, and those are just as cool as the bottles. You know what I mean? Like you go to those breweries with they have like a whole wall of
and is
beer.
each one of them unique?
Yeah,
and individual.
So each brewery that has a handle, they're all very unique, and some are super ornate, like almost like carvings. Some are super simple, and in this case, it's really important for me to, when I design something like that, I want to capture the essence of the company, or something that represents what the company is. So I went to Olentangy multiple times.
That's awesome.
I actually made 5 or 6 prototypes for them, took them out, sat down with them. We went through probably 3 prototype lots, or builds is what I would call them, before they finalized on the design, and then I started to make
because
them.
it's almost like a marketing tool. Because if I'm sitting at a bar and I see, I recognize the Rheingeist, I'll have the Rheingeist.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And the reason why I got connected with them is one of the members in our bourbon group frequented the place, knew the people at Olentangy. And he said, quite honestly, their tap handle sucks. They need a new one. So he connected me with them. And, kind of related to what you just said, they actually took one of the new handles to an establishment that had their beer on tap for a while, had the old handle. He replaced it, and shortly thereafter, they noticed the sales went up of the beer.
So, it works.
I call it the 3 to 5 second rule.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes and sits at the bar, within 3 to 5 seconds, they ought to be able to pick out your tap handle. Yep. Otherwise, it's lost in the sea of the other handles. And in a bar that has 70 tap handles,
listen to all our archived episodes. Go back and watch all the YouTube videos.
3 to 5 seconds, do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then, continuing on to the tap handles, while I was there delivering the last prototype, I got to meet an owner of another brewery.
Okay.
So this guy happens to be the owner of Nostalgia Brewing out in Gahanna. So if you've ever been to that place, it's very unique. There's a lot of Lego stuff, and it's all about nostalgic toys and games and that kind of thing. Oh. So that was a new challenge because he wanted the bases of his tap handles made out of Tinker Toys.
That's cool.
And then they had toppers put on them, and the current toppers, if you go there, are Pac-Man. So literally you'll see Pac-Man with the ghosts and the dots and the fruits on top. He's got 20 taps. So so that was a whole nother unique challenge for me, because if you take Tinker Toys and try to make a tap handle out of it, it's hard.
Obviously it's something you take to heart, and
absolutely,
and seriously, because it's
beautiful.
This is our logo. This is our logo. I mean, this is the letters.
Is this the sides? Is that part of the logo?
No, I added that to decorate it up.
Nice,
he actually made it better.
Yeah. I'm gonna show it to Nick. Shout out to Nick Schaefer, our buddy at work, who actually designed it. I'm
show it.
I'm gonna bring it to work.
But that's the lettering. I mean, it's very identifiable, as what we have online and on the podcast, and
it's a nice suggestion.
Yeah. So you obviously pay a lot of attention to detail, is my point.
I do. So when I did this for you, I looked at just the logo, and I could have done just the logo for the ornament, but to me it wasn't enough. And I spent time looking at different patterns and designs, trying to find the one that I felt fit perfect with your logo. And to me, that was the one that really, really matched up well. So, when I created it and sent you the picture, I was hoping, I'm like, God, please don't let him be disappointed that I added this.
No, as much as not to.
I was I sent it to these guys immediately, and they're like, "Oh man, I want one. We want one. I'm like, well, hey, all right, wait your turn."
I can't wait for my kid to put it in the back next year.
And since I'm an idiot, because like as we continue this conversation, you have to explain the process to me.
Sure.
As I told you, like as if I was 6 years old, because I could never do this in a million years.
No.
So when I said, "Oh man," when I saw this, I went, "I don't know, man," because I'm thinking this took days in my world. This took days to make. You know,
With a teeny tiny hammer and a little
yeah,
bit of-
right.
Chisel.
But once you said, but then you said you kind of casually said once it goes into the what?
Laser engraving machine.
The laser engraving machine. It's you already had the
So-
this done prototype.
Well,
so to speak, or whatever. I don't know what would you call it.
Yeah, so once I create the design, then it's basically a matter of you put the design into the machine, you tell the machine what you want to engrave and cut, so it cuts the outline,
Right.
and then it engraved the rest. And there are settings, like you tell it how much power, what speed. Multiple settings define how deep the engrave goes. You know,
it's graphic engineering to some degrees as well. Yeah.
it is.
So how
for
did
sure.
you embark upon this little journey? How did this all start?
Getting to the laser business?
Getting into this business, Purple Shark Designs, making what you had to have made something
All right, well, Barrett,
for a first time.
Well, if you want to know where it originated from, it actually goes quite a bit back.
Okay, go back.
And this is going to sound like a really weird start. So back in the mid '80s, Bon Jovi and Europe came out with 2 songs on the radio, and I was not huge into music at the time, but "You Give Love a Bad Name" and "The Final Countdown" came out, and crazy enough, it struck a chord in me for drums. I started to tap the
That's
music,
awesome.
and I never knew that I had any musical talent or ability, but for whatever reason, that came out. So the next thing you know, I get a drum set. I teach myself how to play drums over the course of a few years. I start to play in bands. But when I did that, the other thing that happened is all of a sudden I'm like, oh, cool, I get to play in bands. We need band logos. So then I start pulling names out of the dictionary like that I think, oh, these would be cool band names. Aftermath was one. I remember doing that, and Decadence. And I pull out all these names, and I literally sat down and stared to just sketch out what I thought would be a cool logo.
Are you in high school about this age?
I'm in high school,
Yeah,
right.
okay, yeah.
So I start doodling these graphics. I had no idea I had any artistic ability either.
so it's self-discovery.
Bon Jovi.
I start
Done it again.
I start just doing graphic design, not even knowing what that means.
Right.
And then art teacher in high school finds out. So I now as a senior, I'm in an art class, which I never would have imagined, and I'm doing all of the banners. So in a school yearbook in the back or somewhere in there, they have the pictures of the clubs and the sports teams.
Right.
Well, they asked me, well, why don't you design a header for every one of those groups and sports teams? So, okay, so I start doing that, and I almost owned that part of the yearbook. It was crazy. So anyway, I do all that, and then I go to college and kind of put all that stuff on the shelf for years. And I come back out.
Come back out of college. What'd you study in college?
Engineering.
Okay.
So I got my degree. I came out here. I started working at Honda. I've been here almost 28 years now. But then I started the music thing back up. Designed some logos for that. And then a friend of mine at work decided that he wanted to put together a 5K charity run to benefit the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation.
Good cause.
So we worked with the Honda dealership in Marysville, and we put together a 5K run, created it from scratch, and he needed somebody to design shirts. So, of course,
Guess what?
my very first one was done in PowerPoint. Kid you not.
Oh, geez.
It was not great. But over the course of the next 15 years, I designed T-shirts, medals, plaques, banners, all kinds of stuff for that event. And, it made me start to think, I think I could start to design custom awards or something like that. So I researched for years, looking into making T-shirts, like doing shirt designs and printing them myself. I looked into laser engraving machines. I used to go to the Consumer Electronics Show. I looked at them,
I've
but
been there. It's awesome.
but those
Is it
machines were like starting at $10,000 and going up. I'm like,
I imagine.
that's a
Not
lot of
quite
money
for
to
home use. Or,
and that's a
yeah.
lot of money to jump in for just a hobby, right?
Right.
Well, then Kickstarter, I'm I invested in some Kickstarter ideas, and all of a sudden I see this Glowforge pop up on Kickstarter.
What is Glowforge?
Glowforge is the laser machine that Sky got my start with.
Okay.
Sweet.
And it was significantly less money, and it was made specifically for the hobbyist. So
Perfect.
honestly, I put money in only to do this for fun for myself at home, like really nothing else. But I always had that urge to want to do something. So, you know, I paid for the machine. It was probably a year and a half later that I actually got it, not knowing that I was ever going to get anything because, again, that's Kickstarter. And then finally I get the machine, and I wasn't super active with it. How this all got finally started is a little over a year ago, not this past Christmas, but the one before. I decided, all right, I'm in this Bourbon group. I want an ornament to hang on my tree. So I decided, all right, I'm going to take the logo and I'm just going to, you know, make a design and put it on an ornament. But then I decided, well, if I'm going to do all this work, I may as well offer it to the other people. in the
Sure,
group.
right.
Yeah.
So I did, and a lot of people bought them. They loved them. And then the next thing you know, they came and said, hey, you know, we do these barrel picks. And we used to get stickers put on them, but we made an agreement. We can't put the stickers on anymore. You think we could do like a tag or like a small ornament or something? Sure, we can do that. The trick with that.
Do you have anything there to? Okay.
So those are the original Christmas ornaments that really got this business kickstarted. So I made them in a bunch
Central
of
Ohio Bourbon Club.
a
right?
bunch of
Yeah.
different materials and wood finishes, and offered up variety to the group members. And then from that, they had asked me to make these tags. Now the trick with the tags is they're two-sided.
Oh, awesome.
So the two-sided part means you have to be able to align the back so that it looks good with the front. And that was a whole new skill for me. Now, I started making those tags about a year ago, and I've made probably 25 or 26 of them now, with a few more coming soon.
Hansberry, weren't you just talking today to
Dude,
me about
This is
our watershed selection?
synchronicity.
Yeah.
We need you to whip some out for
There's
our
a watershed
watershed
tag in
barrel.
there.
Well, we were getting ready to release our whiskey business selection for watershed, and we're like, we need something that
I'll make you one.
Make sure that they could send it to
Make it
whiskey.
pop, baby.
Well, I think they're also, you know, I think they're going to put a whiskey business sticker on it. But if we could put that little tag in all of them and send people to the website and skeet, take it to the next level.
So those are all of
All right,
the
we'll
tags
talk. All of my
that we.
people call you people.
That sounds great.
He'll have his person.
Which is me and you after
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
After a couple drinks, we'll figure it out.
We don't have people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, these are wow. And you guys.
Yeah. So
It's a nice club. There's a lot of selection. There's a lot of barrel picks.
and they're actually in order of the way that I've made them. So if you look, right there, the one that you're looking at is the first tag that I made.
The privates.
And what you'll notice is the first like 10 tags, or I don't know how many it is, all have the same shape and the same design on the front. But at one point, it's one of my favorite tags still. They asked me, they said, we've got this special barrel. Can you make a tag look like a military dog tag?
Oh, that's tight. Yeah.
And it's in there. And it was, I think it might have been the first one that was not of that same shape and design. And then from that point, I started making unique designs. And the designs, what you'll notice is on the back of the tag, there's a name for the barrel pick.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The design relates to whatever the name of the pick is.
Yeah.
And check out again. I'm sorry to interrupt, but on YouTube, Whitney Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. Well, you can actually see these.
Put a few up there.
Yeah, I mean they're. I mean,
Here, John.
I mean,
I also noticed
they're
on the back
amazing. They're cool looking.
that apparently you guys, your group is in deep with our friend at OPA.
Oh yeah, there's an
Genty?
Oppo one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny was on a podcast a long time ago.
He was one of our first.
He
few.
needs to come back on.
Here's the dog tag one. Sorry,
yeah.
John, if you're shaking it up.
Yeah. He was on the first video one. So
Oh, was he really?
He was our first video.
He was the first
podcast. Wow. Okay, that is a
And
while
we had
back.
talked about going up there to do an episode, and then
And we still are. You know,
COVID
but
hit and all that. Yeah, we should go up and
We get
Let him
we
give
get
us some
busy.
free whiskey.
We get,
Well, he's got quite a selection.
yeah, he's as far as restaurants go, he may be unrivaled as far as his selection. It might be the only thing I think come close is the Century Barn down in Dayton.
I've heard they have a really good selection
with,
too.
that might be the only one. And then again, I say might because Genty is just
he keeps growing his collection.
I don't know. He's going to have to like expand the restaurant in order to cover it. It's huge.
How about this? It just says it has a pickle on it. It says dill with it.
So when you make these, do you
Dad joke.
Were these made for everybody that got a bottle?
Yeah, so when we do the barrel picks, everybody that buys the bottle.
So how many of these would you
comes
make
with
in a?
It's varied. I think the lowest quantity was 70, and I've gone up to probably about 130.
130.
Yeah.
How many? I can't
I
remember
don't
the
know.
math. How many bottles
There's
are in a
between
barrel?
70 and 100, depending on how much they've thieved along the way.
Yeah, how many barrels in a bottle? So
And then what we do is, I can't do these and just give them away.
right. No.
So then they just tack the cost on the top of the bottle.
I feel like we're gonna have.
And how long does it
And
take to
some
make
of the-
something like this?
What you doing next week?
Because
What are you doing tomorrow?
we need 130 of them by morning.
Believe it or not, in most cases, those tags, they average like 7 to 8 minutes per tag.
Per tag.
You have to
per
sit there in
tag.
real time while it etches.
Yeah, so there's the treating of the wood, which means you paint it or stain it. And then depending on what I put on it, I might put a masking material on. And the masking material, what it does is when the laser cuts it, it burns also. And instead of having to clean the char off of the wood, it goes onto the masking material. So I'm still trying to figure out which way is faster.
Right.
But it's easier for me with the masking material. And then after you do that, then you've basically... first thing I do is I cut them out with the masking material on. I pull all the tags out, pull the masking off, and then I laser engrave them. Then I flip them and laser engrave the second side. They're with the current machine that I'm using, they take about 7 to 8 minutes. But I bought a new machine.
Oh,
I still have yet to move it from the garage to the basement.
Okay.
That one will run about 5 times faster.
And
well, maybe we should be the guinea pig project for that one. At a discounted rate and at a faster speed.
and are you still? You're still a one-man operation. It's just you.
Yeah, it's just me.
And you have a full-time job.
I do.
Yeah,
I have a full-time job.
So.
And I'm in an MBA program.
Oh, as well. Okay.
And I have 2 boys as well. So.
Okay.
How old are they? How old are they?
So my oldest is a freshman at Ohio State, and my
right.
youngest is a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Is he on main campus? Because that's hard to get into.
He's on main campus.
He must
Yeah.
have good
Attaboy.
grades, man.
Yeah, they both get good grades.
So you're busy 24/7.
Pretty much,
And
yeah.
you drove down from Marysville to come
Which is
here
awesome,
to join us
yeah.
on Whiskey Business. So.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to it. I didn't know what to expect, but I was looking forward to the opportunity.
We are what you see on the podcast.
Yeah,
There's just a
we
bunch
are.
of knuckleheads
Yeah.
in Dino's
Yeah.
room.
We're not whiskey experts. We
No,
always
no.
we always say that right out of the gate. We're not whiskey experts by any stretch of the imagination. We just like whiskey. We like to learn about it as much as anybody else. Hansberry has asked me questions, and I go, I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I'm the same way. So you asked what I thought about this at the
Well, I
beginning,
just want to know if you
and
like the taste of it. That's all. I wasn't.
And I do, but I'm not a whiskey or bourbon expert, but I just love to drink it, and especially when it's warm outside to sit out on the deck
fit
and
right
chill.
in, man.
Yeah, man.
But
And you're in a. But you're what group are you in? Are they?
It's
if
the
you're,
Central-
if you're in a bourbon group,
Central Ohio Bourbon Club.
Bourbon, what is there a criteria for joining the Central Ohio Bourbon Group?
$200 a year.
I mean, can you be just a novice and join the group, or?
oh yeah, I would say there are plenty of people that would consider
Wait, is this
themselves novices.
Is
It's a
this the
Facebook
one
group,
with
right?
Leanne and Blair, or is that something completely different? They have a different.
No, they got a different group.
They've got a different bourbon club.
There's
Okay.
so many groups. There's so many organizations.
Yeah.
And you know what? We belong to none of them.
I used to
And-
be, but I quit.
But
What'd you
then
belong to?
It was some central thing. It wasn't your group, but I
Was
got out
was
of it
it
because
Cal's?
you
Central
know what?
Ohio Whiskey
I was
Society.
sick of them
You-
basically.
You joined it
upcharging
while
on
you've been
stuff
on
that
this
you- you know.
podcast?
No, this is before.
Before.
Yeah. I quit because they were doing too many secondary market stuff. I didn't agree with.
Yeah. So this group doesn't do that. This group is actually limited, so the only way you can get in is to be vouched for by a member that's already in the group.
Okay, kind of like becoming a Tennessee Squire at Jack Daniels. You can't just apply. You have to be recommended by somebody.
Nice.
And then once you're in, so you'll appreciate this. Once you're in,
birthday's coming up.
you have to remain active as a member. So believe it or not, I got kicked out of the group at least twice. And
After you made all those tags?
no, this is before I made the tags.
All right,
I
good.
wasn't very active in posting and responding and doing things like that. Now they'll probably laugh when they hear this, but I probably couldn't get kicked out if I wanted to because they like the tags.
Yeah, they like
They
the
need
tags,
you.
right?
Yeah, they need me for the tags.
That's your lifetime membership right there,
That's
buddy.
funny.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and
We can't kick him out. Who's going to make the tags, dude?
No, I like that. I know because so again, Leanne Sims and Blair Beavers, who we were talking about at the beginning of the show, they do one, but they travel. They try to keep it legit, and they'll travel to New York and just spend $400 on a bunch of liquor and come back, and they have
tasting. Do you
Yeah,
guys have,
they have tastings once a month or whatever, right?
Do you guys
They need to come back on the podcast as well.
Well, shit, we're not going to get them on time in time for this. I'm not really a bartender thing, but we'll do it.
That's because they got the life.
Yeah.
They just moved.
Huh?
I'm telling her all their business. They just moved out of that.
Moved out of Marinova?
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
a fancy, beautiful.
They went to someplace fancier?
No.
They downsized, right?
Well, from my perspective, I think so. They've got family out towards like Gahanna, Reynoldsburg area, and so
Okay.
they have a house out there.
Oh. They went.
Which is I'm sure is much lovelier because they're close to family. But
Yeah.
this imagine the perfect view of the city of Columbus.
yeah, I can
At
imagine.
M, that's where they lived.
Yeah, when CBS Evening News does
They do it from their balcony.
From there, it's from that building with
Yeah,
the city behind.
Oh, they
it.
really do?
Yeah, they really.
They just
do.
remind they're great people. They're great people. They remind me of like a 1940s black and white movie with I'm surprised that they don't solve crimes.
Right. She lay on a bear.
They don't go around the country solving crimes and drinking bourbons. They're that kind of couple. They're just so much fun. Nice people. Anyway, I digress.
I was going to ask you: does your group do events, or are you just strictly online presence?
Well, so for when you say events, you mean barrel pick events or what
No, do
kind
you
of
guys do
events?
tastings? Do you do like get-togethers? What do
Ice
you guys
cream
do?
social?
Is it just the club people, or is this something that's open to the public
well,
from time to time?
I don't know if I would say it's open to the public.
Are you not allowed to speak?
We do have get-togethers. So
He's
we
gonna
do.
get killed on the way home.
Rule one of the club is do not talk about the club.
Don't talk about the family.
Do not talk about Fight Club.
You don't talk about the family outside of. How many times I gotta tell you? Keep family business.
I can
to
tell
yourself.
you, but then after the show, I'm going to have to.
I have to kill you. Which was our biggest fear. Which was our biggest fear because we said, I don't know this guy. I never met him. He could be coming here to kill us.
I've got 9-1.
And then I'll make a tag for that.
Could do one. His first murder.
I'll make a
Tenth
tag to
murder.
commemorate you.
Oh, that'd be
you know.
awesome. That's what you could be. You could be the tag killer.
I could be.
It could be.
But you
right.
just gave it away.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's all right. All right. It got
But
a
we
little
do-
It
we-
got a little creepy and
we-
dark there for a second.
yeah.
We do the barrel picks, and then so you do the barrel pick. The bottles come in, and then we'll have an event where people come and pick up their bottles. But the idea is we want people to hang out. So
Right.
yeah.
we.
Do you guys
go
have a clubhouse?
Clubhouse?
Yeah.
It's
You
in
have a
his
clubhouse.
backyard tree.
Yeah. Backyard tree.
And do you have a meeting place or anything like that? Do you guys trade houses?
The last
taking control.
the last two times it was at Zaftig. So we've gone
Yeah,
down there,
Zaftig's cool.
and that honestly I'd never been there until going for one of the bottle pickups.
Nice.
That's a really cool place. Yeah, I enjoyed
Which is
it.
funny because it's more of a brewery type
It
of
is.
vibe. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool joint. Local.
You mentioned that you were in a band. Are you? And then you said you got back into the. You said something earlier. You said I got back into the band stuff. Did you mean
that's
making
right.
logos for bands?
No,
or
no,
or
playing.
You're back in a band.
Well, so when I when I moved out here, it was probably a couple years before I pulled the drums out because I was living in a townhouse apartment. But then I started probably around 98, started playing in some organized bands. And I played for many years. In general, they were all Honda member bands, which was kind of unique.
All right.
But unfortunately, me being the youngest guy in the band, everybody else is retired. So, one guy moved down to Florida. One guy is over on the East Coast. Another guy spends half of his time in Florida. So I still play when I can, but right now I'm not super active in a band.
In a regular
band? I love
band?
playing it. And then I...
What was the last band you were in? What was the name of it?
Astounded.
Astounded.
Astounded?
Yeah. We
Astounded.
played for years as a band under the name of Spank.
That's my favorite band.
And we played quite a bit at a place called the Dub Pub. We also played in
Dub
Columbus a few times. Yeah,
The
it's,
tattoos were a little weird
Yeah.
when the groupies started getting the Spank tattoos.
Yeah.
Sticky foot juice was taken.
Yeah.
I played drums, and then years ago I picked up another instrument called a cajon, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a knee-high wooden
got one,
box.
haven't
Yeah, I do.
Dino's got one.
I got one.
You do?
I do. It's upstairs.
Oh, I love playing it.
Yeah, and I don't play drums, but I do a lot of I tap. a
Oh,
lot.
I can teach you how to play it.
Yeah,
For sure.
the
Looking
cajon.
at the photograph right now.
Yeah,
Follow
taking
people.
pictures already. Hansberry?
Well, I'm just
Nice.
because
Well,
I
last
mean,
week we
I
show the stuff, show the product, show it off.
well, yeah,
show
I mean,
it
this is
off.
a very well because I mean I know we're getting to it, but John,
kind-
you brought
what
an
kind of
array
music did you guys
stuff
play?
there.
It was a mix of rock music.
Rock music, so-
we went back to like "Sunshine of Your Love,"
Okay,
all the way up to current modern alternative rock.
cool.
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 At the
This is Astounded or this is Spank?
both.
Both.
When we were Spank and probably Astounded for
I
a
love
while.
the name, man.
We had
What if they played at a bar called The Bank?
my God.
Spank thing.
Oh my God.
It'd be Spank at the Bank.
but yeah, we
You've heard all these jokes, right?
no, actually
God.
not.
They would have thought of them first before they named their band Spank.
Oh my God, dude.
Excuse me. Sometimes I'm 10 years old.
That's all right.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we
Yeah.
all?
Well,
Goodness.
think young, you stay young. Oh man.
I'm sorry.
So-
Continue on. I'm sorry.
Yes. Where were we?
He's like, I'm done. I'm
No,
done. I'm done giving you my.
Some of this stuff that's on the table is kind of cool as well. I mean, obviously, you mentioned your boys. One a freshman at Ohio State and one a freshman in high school. You made these for him, or for the class, or
No. So when the kids are seniors, they have a for the basketball team. They have a senior night where, it's one of their last games at home. So they put up display boards, kind of pictures of all the years of their basketball from the time they were super little until the time they were basically up until a senior. And they put them out for all the parents and anybody else to look at. So when we did that display board, I decided, because I do what I do, I wanted to do something a little bit more special and unique. So, I made this little display. It's a basketball with his number 12, the M for Marysville, which is where he was at, his last name. And then I also made this little acrylic figurine.
Those are awesome.
Which basically I took one of his senior basketball pictures and then laser engraved it onto acrylic.
that's awesome.
And it was just, a
man.
nice little display.
He looks like he's about to
put
break
out.
somebody's ankles right now.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, he looks cool. I said earlier he looks like Patrick Swayze.
And then
Young Patrick Swayze.
the other thing I did is, of course, you have your graduation parties for them. So, so I made a fancy little acrylic display just to sit out. It's got the flashing lights. So it
Do you make
highlights
anything just for yourself?
it. Not really. I don't usually have time. But sometimes, there are some things that I've made for myself, but it's mostly ornaments. but in general, I make stuff for other people.
Right.
You know, I can make something for myself anytime.
Right.
But, you know, some of the other things I've made this
Yeah,
year.
man. Show the wares. Let's see some.
So-
of the
I watched
Just
the
real quick,
YouTube channel, guys.
I just want to give you a plug for the. I'm holding this up on the YouTube. The what do you call this acrylic?
It's an acrylic light up sign.
I got one of these. Both me and my daughter got one of these for Christmas. Not the Marysville class of 2021, but I got a guitar. And she got, I think, like a unicorn. But
Cool.
these are becoming like little popular gifts.
I could see why.
cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
they're
So
very
she's
cool.
got it and I've got it. You know, we've got it on the shelves. But yeah, go ahead. See what else you got there.
Yeah, the
John.
other thing I can add to that is that when I did that, I wanted something to give to all of the seniors that were graduating that came to the party.
Right.
So I also made these little keychains that basically says 2021 grad.
Nice.
Has the Marysville logo on it, and I put the keychain on it. So any of the kids that showed up, they could just grab one, take one. And then I
great.
sent them off to some other parties as well.
Right.
Were you very popular that year?
You know, the kids they take it, they like the stuff, but
Yeah.
it's-
And do your kids like
You
say,
will,
"Oh yeah,
don't
well, you know, I'll get my dad to make something."
my kids don't brag on me at all.
They don't?
No,
What?
they don't.
They will one day.
Someday they'll appreciate
Yeah,
it,
they
but
will.
you know,
Dad, another keychain? Come on.
I'm telling you, man, you can get respect from all the other kids, but you can never get the respect from your own.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
but do I make
Eventually
stuff
they
for
will.
me that honestly the tags are probably for me. It
Yeah.
allows me to put my creative energy into something, and then of course, even if I don't buy the bottle, I keep one of every tag. Actually, I keep two of every tag that we distribute, and I have both collections at home. So I make those. You know, I had a bourbon exchange with guys from work, and made this unique tag for it. You guys want
What
to
does
take
it
a
say
look
on
at that?
So for the listeners, it's like a wood ring with a
Brown
like a
drink
silver,
exchange.
or I meant a silver, a plastic.
It's like an
It's an
barrel.
acrylic, so
Acrylic,
it's an acrylic insert. You can actually pop it out. It pops right out.
Looks
of
like
the
it looks like a poker chip.
Yeah, I know it does look like a
Yeah,
poker
yeah,
chip.
yeah.
You probably could make poker chips.
Yeah.
You
I
can make
can make
our
poker
whiskey
chips.
business one a poker chip.
You can make a whiskey
for the
make whiskey
Italian
business
club.
poker chips. Period.
Or for the Italian club. Poker
What?
chips for the Italian club.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that as well. That's cool.
Mostly, I try to make fun stuff that I think other people would like.
And you do the conventional stuff like T-shirts and hats and
Not
and
yet, but
designs.
not
like that?
yet. But one of the next things I want to venture into is making patches for hats that can heat press on. Because I think that would be really cool. And then I could take your whiskey business logo, make a patch, and iron it onto a hat, and then you could have your own hat.
Well, you're from that generation, like our buddy Archie, who is like
We need hats.
hairband, 80s
hats.
kid. He's
We
got
need
the patches
everything.
all
Yeah.
over his jacket,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, Archie's got all the
got the patch-
patches
yeah,
on his
yeah,
jacket. That's
man.
what it reminds me of.
We need tour jackets, hats.
Lanyards.
We need yeah. We need a tour to go on first. Maybe we should do that.
You want the shiny jackets,
You
the
got
one from the
shiny jets,
70s.
The 70s.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
man.
shiny LeMay jackets that say whiskey business.
Yeah,
me.
like I said earlier, you know, I word of mouth requests have kept me so busy that even if I wanted to make stuff just for me, I always prioritize other people's requests and needs. And I've gotten so many. You know, I've got other examples here where one of the guys in our bourbon group was actually deployed. And I had reached out to him and asked, hey, is there anything I can send you, you know, make and send you that would, you know, that you need or would be fun? So he asked, he's like, hey, can you take our logo and make a Christmas ornament out of it and send it to us? And he told me how many he needed. And I made them, put them in a care package that our group sends over there and
Like a
sent these
regiment
off. And
logo? Regiment?
yeah, so you can take, this one is Stigma.
Man,
And
That's pretty cool.
that's very cool.
so I sent those over to him and they were ecstatic. He sent me a picture. They put all of theirs up on the Christmas tree that they had over there.
Nice.
And I guess I think they had some kind of a competition decorating over there or something. So I got that request. I got another request.
Prince Sultan Air Base.
A guy who had passed away that was a friend and a coworker of a member in our group. He asked if I could make commemorative tags. So I made this one, and somebody else had actually designed this logo that's on the
AP
front.
it. 1979.
AP. Yeah, so AP is
2021.
the initials of the guy. His name was Aaron Prowitz. On the back, I actually took a photo I found off the internet, laser engraved it along with his name and then his year of birth and year of death. So
Dude, you're making memories, you're making keepsakes, you're
honestly, those are some of the more fun things for me. Like those are meaningful to people.
But you're making things that John kind of said it jokingly, but there's some sincerity to it. You're making some things that people will keep for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I didn't touch on this just this past Sunday, the bottle pickup that we had. It's actually the last, let me see if I can find it. It's the last tag in this collection right now. And it's this one right here. And the name of the pick was called Wilderness Trail. So this one was actually in honor of a guy. His name was Bill Withrow. I didn't get the honor of meeting this guy, but I wish I had, because it sounds like he was a pretty entertaining and funny guy. And he loved his bourbon. The funny story with him is he loved one called Very Old Barton.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
but-
awesome.
The best kept secret in Kentucky.
But he
right.
always
Or the worst
called
kept
it.
secret.
But he always called it
find
Old
out.
Barnyard.
Old Barnyard.
Oh, I'm gonna pick that up.
And
for the-
everybody who knew this guy, that's how they were that's what they knew of him, is that he always called it Old Barnyard. He'd even go into bars and ask for it, and they had no idea what he was
What he's
talking
talking
about. So this one, because this specific pick was named in his honor,
Right.
I actually made this tag specifically for him,
The Old
and
Barnyard.
I got the opportunity to reach out to his daughter. I shared the design with her. I got feedback and input from her to make sure that it was exactly right, and she was happy with it before it got released. The color, his favorite color was dark blue. That's why it's dark blue. Those things, these kinds of things are the things that are really
You have
important for me,
a
because
very sincere streak of sentimentality in you.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, anytime somebody can use a gift or talent for other reasons than profit or whatever the case might be, that's a big check in my book, man. That's terrific.
And then
good for you.
This one here probably has meaning to everybody. So I was actually part of this pick team. We did this pick on this past September 11th, and when we did it, we wanted a name that was significant for that day. So once we picked the name, then I wanted to make a tag that really, really represented that day.
Describe it to everybody.
So this tag has an image of the Twin Towers, and it also has an image of the Pentagon. And then in between, the words "Never Forget." Now, what's unique, and you would never pick up on this most likely unless I told you, is that above "Never Forget" on either side of the Twin Towers are stars. On the left side, there are 9 stars, and on the right side, there are 11 stars. So when you talked about
9/11.
attention to detail,
Yeah.
that's
nice.
really big for me. I try to throw little carrots in there or Easter eggs.
Easter eggs,
yeah.
if you will.
It's got to be the fun part, kind of for you.
Yeah.
And then, for our tags that go on the bottles, on the back, it's always, the name of the pick itself, the distillery, and then usually the year. However, I offered up additional tags for this specific one because I knew it might be meaningful to people in other ways. And I offered a few different versions, but this specific one that I have in my hand, actually at the museum that honors the 9/11,
Right.
there's a saying that's on the wall. So I took that saying and I put it on the back of this specific one.
What's it say?
I'll let one of you guys read it so I don't have to pull out my reading glasses like an old man.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
it's
I
okay.
am an old
Well,
man. And I
boys,
got no
yeah.
problem.
He's got him
You're
handy though,
surrounded
at
by
least.
No day shall erase you from the memory of time. That's a quote from Virgil.
So,
Never forget. 9/11.
projects like that motivate me and make me put even more effort in. There are a few examples in the tags, like the dog tag one was one that I was asked if I could make a tag look like a dog tag. So literally that is dimensionally the same as a dog tag.
And the same color, too. It's got
the
that
same
silver
same
metallic.
color, and it also has the letters reversed on the back.
Brother, it is the attention to detail that will
So-
set you
'Cause it's
apart
stamped.
from other people that do this type of thing and do it haphazardly or casually or whatever the case might be. Please
So-
promise us that you won't
I-
lose that attention to detail, because I think this is what's going to set you apart.
I never
everybody.
I never will. I think that's been ingrained in me. But to change the tone a little bit, there are other things that I like to do, and one of my dreams now is to try to get connected with one of the distilleries and start making something for them, whether it's tags for bottles,
Well,
ornaments they sell in
I know a
stores,
guy.
or some other things.
We know a guy.
So, I tinker, and I actually had sent some stuff off to a few distilleries. So I made this as an ornament design that I made that's supposed to
Woodford
look
Reserve.
like the end of a barrel, basically. And then on the backside, I actually chart it like the inside of a barrel. So if you
Now you
look
pick
at
up
it,
on that. You think how many other people you think would pick up on that?
anybody who's in the bourbon
Right?
would
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Should know, right? I would think that they would know. But here's another cool one. You guys are going to like this one. So you guys are familiar with Booker's and the box that the Booker's comes in,
Oh my
right?
God, I
So-
love that right there.
So,
that.
I
Oh,
decided to make a
man.
mini version for the little bottles that you can get inside.
Sure.
And it's got the acrylic. On this one, I put Woodford Reserve. I couldn't sell it because I don't have the rights to put their logo on here.
Right.
But this was just a sample. But the lid actually slides up, so you
just
can
like
get
a
the bottle
Booker's
out.
box.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then it
That's
slides
cool
back
for
down.
with whiskey,
Wow.
so Santa Claus
So-
can have a little nip.
Well, you're not wrong, John. That would be great. You don't put someone's logo on it, and then you sell them as like a little.
Well, so I plan to make it so that you can customize it for yourself, or I'm going to put some phrases on it, that just fun phrases, so people can just buy, the way it
because
is.
you could reuse this and fill your own little
yeah.
airplane bottle. In
And
there.
then, yeah.
My mind's
Doesn't even have to
spinning
be
with
whi-
all
it-
this
I've,
stuff.
I've
It doesn't
got
have to be
I've got
bourbon.
other ideas.
it could be Jaeger. I mean, not really. Dino's on. That's on Dino's no-fly list. Jaeger.
Yeah, it is, but
What is he in college? Come on, dude.
I wish.
Yeah. No.
No, yeah, Jaeger's off my no-fly list. Jaeger and tequila. That's another story for another time.
Have you ever had Jaeger and tequila together?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh yeah, man.
Coasters.
Yeah.
Look at the coasters.
Coasters are cool.
Well, hold on. Before we get to the coasters, so that I don't know if you guys are. You probably aren't aware, but last year, because of the pandemic, a lot of people that do the same thing I do, they made a. Am I allowed to curse on this thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people made what was called a fuck flake.
Uh-huh.
And literally it had the word fuck written in script, and then they duplicated it so that it looked like a snowflake.
Oh, that's funny.
Those things sold by the thousands. People made thousands of dollars off of those things.
I have one of those ornaments.
do?
I do. Yeah, I do.
So,
I didn't know. I didn't realize what it was until they said, "Look at it. Look a little closer." And I went, "Oh,
It says the F word.
Yeah.
I got it for my kids.
I'll be honest. I wish I was in at the beginning of that because I could have made a ton of money. But, I also want to do things the right way. So that's not the kind of thing I really want to make money on. So I try
It's
to
low-hanging fruit.
I try to keep myself with things that are a little bit more ethical, I guess you could say.
that's fine."
But this one, I decided, I had this idea. I'm like, you've got all the different, when people drink and analyze bourbons, they talk about the nose, they talk about the palate, they talk about all these different characteristics. So I took all those characteristics and made a bourbon flake out of
Oh
it.
man!
So this is
Let
the
me look
bourbon
at that.
flake. This one was 2021. And I haven't made it available, haven't sold it, haven't done anything with it.
This
But
is awesome.
I
All
thought
right,
it was
it's got-
kind of...
It's got.
It's almost a resource too. I mean, because it gives you all the different.
It
For
is.
those of you who are just listening to
And
this podcast, you need to go back and watch this podcast because you're missing out on all this cool stuff. This has
The balance,
body,
and there's
balance,
the balance.
heat,
There's a little scale.
color, nose, palate, finish,
Indy 500
The
flag
rating.
for the finish.
the legs. It's got body.
Oh, it's got legs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got
man.
legs.
This is awesome.
So that is what I would consider a prototype because I never finished it. It needs a little more to make it look like a real snowflake. Right now, it looks kind of like a wagon wheel. Honestly.
Oh, okay. So what? It's a wagon wheel. It's a snowflake.
It's still
Whatever.
cool,
It's
right?
cool.
It's still cool.
pirate
It's still
wheel.
very cool.
It's good with cheese. Cheese a wagon wheel. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No,
That's
I,
awesome.
But I think you're on the right track.
I want
is,
all
you
this
know,
stuff.
And there's other
gotta
stuff
do
like
it.
What's this?
like this
Oh,
is
there's
like
Zopa
this is
way
a
up
mini
there.
Glencairn that has the color of the the
it's-
bourbons in the glass.
Did
Opa's logo.
get to get a bunch of these?
No,
He should.
That's the only one that's in existence.
He didn't
right
want it
now.
or what? What's going
didn't
on?
know it
I
happened.
haven't offered these up yet because, so quite honestly,
He
that
wants to
one.
sell them.
Well, that one takes a little bit more time because it's hand colored. It's not like there's no
You
simple
gotta
way to
hand
do
paint
it.
those kind
That's
of.
what your high school freshmen.
Here's another one that has basically it's like a bourbon flight board that's replicated
Right,
into an ornament.
right.
You got
Okay.
some great ideas, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why you
You-
aren't 1,000 air already.
I don't have time.
So, well, speaking of that, I mean, how many years at
What about
Honda
the
now?
Ohio one?
How many years at Honda?
How many do I have or have
How many?
left?
How many of you?
He's counting down,
Which,
not counting
that's
up.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I am counting down. So one thing I didn't touch on is one of the reasons why this whole business thing started is
Right.
this is actually me setting myself up for my retirement.
Right.
Sure,
I was
why
going to
not?
say. So
And
when
I-
you pull the trigger,
And I'm 5 years away from being eligible to retire early. So I'm trying to get myself set up, whether I retire then or a little after that.
can I ask you how old of a man you are?
I just turned 50 on January 4th.
Oh, that's
so,
young. They could buy
but-
you out. They could buy
50.
you out in 3
But,
years. You don't know.
Yeah, so anyway,
50.
that,
50. You got your whole life ahead of you.
that's kind of what I'm trying to get this started. I'm trying to get it built up to a point where
Well, I hope
you
being
know,
on
when I
our
retire-
podcast helps a little bit. I mean, we've been talking with John Barlow from Purple Shark Designs, and we'll definitely put all your information and website and everything in our podcast descriptions
Yep,
and so
will
forth and
do.
so on. But when we wrap things up here, which we're getting close to doing, is there anything that you need to show us that we haven't got to that you think is cool? That like you,
I have a few more things. So
yeah, man, bring them.
And trust me, I've got a whole treasure trove more of stuff that I didn't get to bring because
Star Wars
either
stuff?
I don't have it or I've made
Yeah, John. So
I've made beer flight boards for the flight crew. If you know who those guys are, they were super custom. They look like airplanes.
Wow.
They were super cool.
Oh, nice.
You can see those. I think they're posted on my Square site. But I also, coasters
Coasters
is
are
one of
very
the
cool.
things I want to do. This
Whiskey
one,
Business Coasters.
Well, and that
this,
was
this
retro
one's
looking,
marble.
man.
This one's on marble.
Oh,
crap, dude.
man,
This one
it's
is
heavy.
agate stone, which the coaster is really kind of dinky and small.
this.
But
Man.
this one is glass,
Hey, Johnny, I'm sorry.
and this has my logo on it, the purple shark.
How did you come up with the name Purple Shark?
There
Purple
are-
Shark
this is
Design.
Okay,
glass.
so when you're looking at purple shark, there are a few things.
Can I?
So the
Ooh, they don't work.
the-
Kidding.
fir-
Your coasters work wonderfully.
the first thing is that anytime I'm at the beach, I'm always the guy that says, "Hey, I think I see a shark out there," and my girlfriend doesn't find that too funny most
Yeah,
of the time. but-
I'm the same guy.
So
It's
I
just
kind of, somehow I've become
Stupid
attached to
joke.
sharks. But within the shark design itself, you'll notice that there is sergeant stripes.
right?
Oh, like
Okay.
those
And that-
chevrons.
Yeah, so that's to represent my dad because he was in the Marines. And then the purple was my mom's favorite color.
Everything's got a story
There you
behind
go.
it, dude.
It does. My brother, cousin, and I own a condo and we have our own separate LLC for that. It's called Sergeant Moo. My mom liked cows. My dad was a sergeant.
Wow.
So
Wait,
and
what is that?
and the logo's purple also.
Everything's got
Wait, and what is that?
It's a company that we started to run the condo that we own.
Oh,
so we have a
okay,
condo
okay,
down in
yeah,
North
okay, got
Myrtle.
everything.
And then, of course, this is faux leather, and then there's slate. So,
Wow,
there's
wow,
all kinds
wow.
of options when you talk about coasters.
Yeah.
And then, of course, going back
It's
to
nicer
the
than my wallet.
Going-
I thought it was a wallet when he first pulled it out.
going back to the beer.
Can you make
tap-
a wallet? Can you make a wallet?
I have wallets actually.
Ah, Whiskey Business wallets. Mic drop.
All right. Well, okay,
And I
keep
have
going, keep
flasks,
going.
so I'm going to be doing flasks
Oh, we
and
see, you can
wallets.
see all the
and-
flasks I have over there. I need one more.
One more?
Well, no, I really don't. But I would take one.
If it had
I would take a
Whiskey
whiskey
Business
business
logo on it.
flask.
He's got the logo already into his fancy computer. All he needs to do is hit
So
print.
going back to the beer tap handles, when I do the beer tap handles, it's usually more than the laser machine. So I also do 3D printing. So the Olentangy ones, for example, have the arrow on the top. That's 3D printed, as well as the top and bottom caps. I have a couple prototypes of other designs for other breweries that I was working on. This one's a brewery called Wrecking Crew. So if you look at their logo, they have an octopus in their logo design. So I decided to make something kind of unique. I had heard that they might be looking for a new tap handle design.
It's amazing. And for the
So
listeners, go ahead.
This is all 3D printed, the green. Now, what's really cool about this is if you shine a black light on it, this thing lights up.
Lights
like,
up?
like anything. It's amazing.
There's your mic drop.
There you go. So wait, real quick for the listeners, it's like a tap handle, but it's got an octopus tentacle kind of curling around, and
You can hook your finger in there just to whip it down.
it's cool
Yeah.
looking.
And then for my friend who owns Nostalgia, he has another section in his bar that he actually has a bar in there now that looks like gigantic Lincoln logs. And he has 4 taps that are going to be behind it. So I thought, well, we ought to make a tap handle out of Lincoln logs,
Right,
right?
Sure, of course.
So I started to work on, this is another prototype, but I started to work on this design where I take actual Lincoln logs, and then I designed and 3D printed the roof to fit on and essentially hold it all
Yeah,
together.
the fucking roofs of Lincoln Logs, they never stayed on.
Yeah.
And
No,
I didn't
they
realize-
don't.
But okay, so I'm glad
So,
you found the
John,
answer to that.
You got to be thinking all the time. You must just
Yeah, sometimes.
lay in bed and just go, oh, yeah.
So I have to start writing ideas down because I have so many that I forget ideas fast. So I
notebook
jot
by
them
bedside,
down.
dude. I keep a notebook by my bedside all the time. I wake up in the middle of the night with thoughts and I jot them down.
Yeah,
Do it.
The hard thing is finding time to get back to those ideas because, like I said, I have a lot of people that reach out and ask for these different things they want made, and I'm more than happy to do it. It's just, it all takes time.
There's 3 of us here now that are going to be like talking after the fact about stuff that we could do. We're going to come to you.
You wanted to see this.
Yeah, the
didn't you?
Ohio one is really rad. Explain that one.
Yeah,
to the
so
listeners.
so in our bourbon group, there was one pick where instead of the tags, we made a token, and the purpose of the token was the person who bought the bottle, they were given they actually bought the right to get a bottle, but they were given a token, and they had to turn the token in at one of the liquor stores in order to purchase the bottle. It was their proof that they had paid money in.
Okay.
So they reached out to me after we did all that and said, hey, could you make a special tag just for a select group of people that were involved in the pick of that barrel? I'm like, yeah, sure. And their request was, could you include the Bengals and the Reds in there somehow? Like, all right.
As one does.
All right. So I decided to make the shape of Ohio, and then I took some features of the Bengals and the Reds. So I got the pinstripes for the Reds with their logo, and then I've got the stripes for the Bengals. And I laser engraved that into black acrylic. Now, what's kind of cool about this is the centerpiece actually just pops out. It's like literally a press fit. So the tokens that they had originally gotten will fit in this, but I also made an acrylic one just for that tag. And the reason why I did that is if you hang it on a tree like a Christmas ornament,
Yeah.
when you put that clear acrylic
Boom,
in
the
front
lights.
of the lights, it
Boom.
lights it up and it looks amazing. So yeah, that was another unique one that I got the
You
opportunity
should,
to do.
This podcast will drop after the Super Bowl this weekend.
right.
But
Hopefully, I'll be in a good mood.
yeah, in the event that the Bengals win the Super Bowl, you should start thinking right now.
Yeah, I
about
can't
something.
sell anything with.
No, that's right. That's right. See, but
You could. How about Joe Burrow? You don't. His name
Wow.
isn't
name and likeness. No, he probably couldn't do
Yeah,
that.
no, damn it.
But here's the thing.
Unless
here's
you guys
the,
know him,
Here's
then-
no. We talked to his mom
Today, right?
on the radio. That's as close as we've gotten.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, I know. She was awesome. Robin Burrow, Joe's mom was great. But here's what I'm thinking though. Here's what I'm feeling anyway. I think there's going to come a time where word of mouth is going to get to the right people, and they're going to be coming to you.
I sure hope so.
And asking you to do this stuff. I mean, that's. I'm kind of blown away a little bit by the, and it's not so much. I know other people can do this kind of stuff. You see merchandising, you see marketing stuff all the time, but the fact that you pay so much intricate detail to certain things, are you fearful that if you do get to do this on a bigger level, that standard would fall away? I mean, you know how sometimes when people get bigger, sometimes things drop down.
You hear that from contractors. I don't want the
right.
gig. It's, I can't handle it.
I don't think I would ever let myself get to that point. So, it's interesting, and not to knock any
no
any brands or makers, but Maker's Mark does those snowflakes on their bottles.
right.
I actually sent them a message and told them I was disappointed of the one they gave away 2 Christmases ago, because mine broke in pieces. Like every time I touched it, it fell apart. And the one I got this year has that burn char that I was talking about. Like, this is a prototype for me. You can see the burn char
Right.
on the wood. If I see that, even if I'm making 100 pieces, I reject it. So I will. I've actually thrown a lot of stuff away because it doesn't meet my own standards.
Don't lose that.
Quality over quantity.
Well, people are paying
Quantity over
money
quality
for
either way.
this kind of stuff because it's handcrafted. I would like to believe that they expect a higher level of quality in that stuff. They're not paying cheap money for most of these things. So,
And that's where you'll separate yourself from the pack.
and I want people to be happy with the money that they spent when they spend it with me. There are a lot of great makers out there. I can tell you, I belong to some groups on Facebook, and some of the stuff that people make, like me, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But the amount of time that goes into it is also amazing.
Nothing but props and respect, man, because this is a skill set that I don't have, and anytime I come across somebody who has a skill set, last week we had a cartoonist and storyboard artist on the show, who does amazing work, and I'm always amazed at what other people can do and how well they do it, and I'm always taken aback, and I admire it and I respect it, and I think what I respect the most out of all this is your passion for the attention to the detail. I mean, that's what stands out to me most of all. So everything you touch has a very unique quality to it. So bravo, man. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think we need to start wrapping things up.
Yeah, well, let's start with, okay, I'm an average Joe who wants to patronize your skills. How do we?
You're trying to say you want to be a customer?
Well, yeah.
You have an Etsy store?
How does one contract you?
How does one get a hold of Purple Shark Designs?
Well, so on the back of your ornaments, you actually have, I put on there my Square site, my Facebook, or maybe it's got my Facebook, Instagram,
and go ahead and make
email.
sure you say it too for the
Now you're
listeners.
just making us work. Come on.
But we'll include it.
Say it for the audio
include it with
people
the
who are just
podcast.
listening.
But you can search on Facebook for Purple Shark Designs. You can search on Instagram for Purple Shark Designs as well, and you can find me. And the one thing you want to look for is you want to look for the purple shark. The logo with the purple shark in it.
And this is even like, if you did some cool stuff for your son's graduation. This is something where we could do a one-time thing, or we need you to do 400 things.
Absolutely.
Everything in between.
Yeah, I can tell you for one of the distilleries, I actually did get a request from them. They asked me to quote 2,500, 5,000, and 10,000 pieces in 3 weeks.
In a local distillery here in town?
Like one of the major distillers.
Okay, so that's what you want to do.
That's what I want to do. I quoted it. I didn't get the job. So
well, but to your point, as soon as you retire, that price is going to come down a little bit because you have the time.
So to answer your question, could I do it? I had to tailor, because it was only 3 weeks that they were giving me. I had to really tailor the designs to be simple so that I could reach those quantities.
Yeah.
But I now have a new machine. With the new machine, I could easily do that. Like I can knock 10,000 out way more
In the
easily
garage.
than what I had, say, a month ago.
Yeah, you learn what your weakness was, and now you can get the next job, right?
Yeah. So to answer your question,
Nice.
yeah, I do one-off pieces. I do pieces clearly of like 100, and I can do more than that as well.
Which one do you got? You have yours? Where's mine? That's yours? Where's mine?
They're
Right
around.
here.
There's- yeah, I mean,
Did you put mine back in the bag?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's 3 of them. There's only 3 of them.
I can always make more.
You may have to. Yeah, because we'll start.
Well, and actually, that's a good question because, like, say, okay, maybe we have fans. I don't
Yeah.
think so, but maybe we do. Like, so could somebody say, "Give me one of those whiskey business things"? I mean,
How do I get one of those? Yeah.
same thing.
Well, so in that case, I wouldn't do it unless I reached out to you first, because I will never offer somebody else's product or logo without the approval of.
You have our approval.
Well,
so-
yeah,
You know, so
Consider this our approval.
yeah, but I mean, in that
buy
case,
buy us a drink next
If-
time we see you.
if-
If
yeah.
you make some money off of it.
yeah. I mean, if somebody wanted a whiskey business ornament, I would happily make it for them. I'd probably ask,
Well,
once you get it, please post a picture
There
of
you
it.
go.
And
We,
Yeah.
Tag.
I know that we have at our disposal. We have a place where people can go. We never talk about it.
No.
Ever talk about it. But
What is it even? Do you remember what it's called? Is it Monkey,
I can't even
monkey
remember.
Space or?
Monkeys, I don't even remember.
see that we're horrible. We're horrible.
We're the worst.
We're
It's
horrible at
MySpace. Find us on MySpace.
MySpace. We're horrible at promoting ourselves. But this kind of inspires me to set up a real whiskey business store. You know, I mean,
Well, and you could. So with the new machine, some of the things I will be able to do, it has a rotary device, so now I can do bottles, glasses, things that are round, which I couldn't do before. There are a lot of new things I'm going to be able to do.
Things that are round.
I'm
I
excited
know.
about
Well,
it.
I'm excited about a whiskey business flask, whiskey business coasters. I would love a
I
whiskey
thought I was
business
cool.
hat.
Remember we had I had
the playing cards.
playing cards made for Dino. That was a long time ago.
They're up there right there.
I know.
I feel like
I'm
you
looking
need a
at 'em.
sign for in the background while you're doing the show.
Neon? Can you do neon light?
Oh, I could if that's what you
Let's
wanted.
go!
Yeah.
I mean, if
A
that's
bar,
what you
neon
want.
bar
Yeah,
sign.
it's,
Let's go.
yeah, neon's out of our budget.
If you go to the website, there's a merch button at the top left right corner. So
Of whiskey
Yes.
whiskey business.
spring something,
whiskeybusinesspod.com.
spring space or spring something. I forget.
the fact that we don't know is sad.
There's T-shirts and mugs, stickers.
We should stop having our business meetings after the episodes.
We haven't had a business meeting in 2 years, dude.
We have.
What are
You
you
just
talking
forget
about?
about them because we're doing them after the episode. After we polish off a bottle.
Watch
So,
this.
so wait, are we doing a business meeting here after this?
We're gonna because I need you to do the tags for
here's
our
my
bottle.
really cool segue. The last piece of business we did was signing with Evergreen Podcast Network. Who we'd like to thank once again for being and letting us into their family.
Yeah, well, at evergreenpodcasts.com. In
And,
fact.
there you go, Greg.
You can find all sorts of podcasts there. Our brethren and sisters.
And while I'm talking business, go ahead and
Sisterhood.
finish up a little bit more while we get ready to say goodbye to John and wrap things up here this evening.
Yeah, please, thank you. Thanks to a Watershed. Edit.
No edit. Well, Watershed's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We got a very big podcast with them.
Thank you to Evergreen Podcast Network for putting up with this nonsense. Whiskey Business is on YouTube. Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. A lot of great stuff there. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe, the little bell. Or
Yeah,
on
check
Twitter.
out our latest podcast
on
with
Instagram.
our friend Rafael Rosado. It's really a lot of fun.
I got to be honest, this is one of my favorite recent podcasts. It just was very interesting. He just talked about being a cartoonist. It was very cool.
Yeah.
You lit up when you talked about Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Because he worked on some of my favorite cartoons growing up. It was very cool.
There were 2 episodes.
So it's
Seems
kind
like-
of back to back. We've
Yeah.
had people who are
Artists,
very,
creatives.
very good at what they do as far as their art, their work, their craft. So
Finally,
yeah.
I mean, we
Oh, no,
thank
no,
God we have our
no,
guests
you
know what
kid-
the fuck
you
they're
kid-
doing.
All we are is a conduit to the really talented people. That's all. That's all.
But thank you for subscribing to your favorite podcast, Whiskey Business, on your favorite podcasting network. Also, make sure you check out the links for the I'm Not Really a Bartender competition, which is on February
with that.
27th. We'll post some more about that. But
Putting my money on you, man.
Well, put your money towards service, the charity towards.
Well, I'll put that one in it, but I'm sure there's got to be some side action somewhere.
All right.
Right?
I know a guy. You know a guy. You introduced me to that guy.
I know all the guys. I know all the guys. John Barlow has been our guest. The company is Purple Shark Designs. The website, once again, that people can go to to check everything out. I know.
He just said go to Facebook and look for the Purple Shark.
Look for the Purple Shark.
Yeah,
Is that the easiest way to do it?
Well, right. Yeah. Eventually, my store will be on the Square site.
Okay.
I actually have a site there now. It's not listed, and the website's
And we're gonna
too
post.
long for me
You've
to
got an
read
Instagram
out.
account, Purple Shark 2021@gmail.com.
Okay.
I'll give you the Square site address so you can include
yeah,
that.
well,
We
you
can
know,
include
we'll-
all that stuff, too.
We'll ask our intern to tag all of them and stuff on social media.
We have an intern?
No.
All right.
I hope to have a website someday.
We hope to have an intern someday.
You guys all right?
4 hours later.
Oh, my goodness.
Later.
All right.
Is this thing on?
It's on. It's on. Trust me.
This thing on.
This is the stuff that Hansberry will cut out of the audio part, but that Whitney will just let run on YouTube. I saw
I don't
the
make
host of Whiskey
decisions.
Business. He was coughing.
I make those decisions, man. I'm too lazy.
Yeah.
to rest.
All right, and before we go, let's take one more. I keep saying that we need to get back to this. Let's go back to our guest bottle for this evening, the Jack Daniel's
good.
Master Distiller Series, number three, Lem Tolly's bottle. What'd you think?
I really did like it, and I looked
Excuse me.
online. It's available from someone out of Italy for $80.
Nice.
Okay. Well, no.
No, I know we got it right here.
But
But it's
well, not much of it left, but it's okay.
I had the last sip neat, and it's very smooth.
It's smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you say,
Did
John?
you like it?
It was really good. Yeah,
good?
really good. It has
Okay.
a unique flavor profile.
I want to give you guys a fair warning. We're gonna start getting into some scotches here in the weeks to come as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. We.
But you can't do scotch for the 200, right? No scotch for 200.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't know what our
what, like
200
190.
I think this is bottle 190.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to be
We're
back for
within
200.
striking distance of the 200.
Yeah,
Yeah.
May probably somewhere in there.
Any suggestions as what do you think the 200th
April, May.
bottle
we
should
could,
be?
May we could do a Kentucky Derby celebration.
I don't know. I mean, that's only 10 podcasts away.
I don't have any suggestions. No, just something rad we haven't had before.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Some bottom shelf piece of shit.
Or that would be funny too.
Just go the other way with it.
Or
Yeah.
something local.
Well,
You almost
I don't
had
want to
all
say
the-
too much about Watershed, but I wish that was our 200th bottle.
Oh, yeah.
I wish it planned out, but it's not going to plan out that way, so that's okay. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I almost kind of like your idea. Go as bottom rot gut as possible for the 200th bottle.
All of us show up with like we have like $10, and we just have to go around the city.
that's a
we
good
could
idea.
do?
And we have to just find the
You know
shittiest
what we could
shit.
do? We could do what Whitney would hate. We could do
Plastic
Plastic
bottle.
bottles.
It has to be plastic.
He
Has to
hates
be under $10.
He hates whiskey in plastic
just-
bottles.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Hey, man, plastic seeps with alcohol. I'm guaranteed. You know.
What do they call that? The
Weird.
Seepage.
They call it weird. He's weird. That's what they call it. He's weird.
I'm gonna erase all of this.
I've never been sicker with a bottle of vodka. I drank all the
yeah,
vodka.
it was
but
the plastic that
It
got
was
you
all the
sick.
vodka.
Ah,
that, you
yeah.
know.
All right, I'm gonna officially wrap things up because we all have day jobs to get to tomorrow. Do you working tomorrow, John?
I am.
You are. Yeah, we all are.
He's
Yeah,
building,
back to
he's building
Marysville.
cars.
Yeah. Once again, our guest, John Barlow, Purple Shark Designs. Can't do it without Greg Hansberry on the audio side of things, John Whitney on the video side of things. I am your host, Dino Tripodis. We are Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. And until the next bottle, see ya.